everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jackie and thank you for watching. So today I'm going to be showing you how to do just a basic smoky eye and just all the tips and tricks and the steps I use to achieve a look like this. And then I'm also going to be talking about my palette recommendations that are just really good for every day and can be used to achieve a really basic smoky eye or even just kind of amp it up for like a night out. So if you want to see how I got this look and what my favorite everyday smoky eye palettes are, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Dose of Colors Baked Browns palette for this smoky eye demo. I chose this one because this is a really good basic everyday palette. Really good to use to, you know, achieve that smoky eye look. And it's super easy too because you just kind of go down the row of colors for your most basic look. Because say you want to do a black smoky eye, you don't want to go straight in with a black. You want to start with the lightest colors and just build your way up. That way the blending is going to be a lot easier and just the overall eye look is going to look a lot better. So I'm going to start off with the lightest shade called Tea Light and just use this as a base and put this all over my lid. And I already primed my eyes using the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Primer. Now I'm just going to use a fluffy brush. This one is a Morphe M505. I like this because it's a little bit tapered at the top, but it's still like super fluffy. It's really good for transition. I'm going to use the next darkest shade called Deserted. It's right here. And this is going to be the first color I go in with, my first initial transition color. And I'm just putting this in the crease, all over, kind of high up in the crease, low in the crease, just all up in that crease, and just blending back and forth with, oh my god, my freaking cat. She does this every video. I'm just blending in back and forth motions and in circular motions. I didn't put too much product on my brush. And I'm using really light pressure and kind of holding the brush towards the end. It gives you a lot more blending control when you hold your brush down at the end of the handle instead of like holding it, you know, close up. You don't really have a lot of control that way. I don't want to build this color up too much because we're going to go in with a bunch of other ones and build up that way. And I also, because the smokiness is going to be on this outer corner here, so that is where I'm first placing my brush, and that's where the majority of my product is going to build up. And then I want to just kind of diffuse it towards the inner corner. I'm going to switch to another fluffy brush. This is a Morphe M518, and I'm going to take the next latest shade called Outdoorsy. It's this middle shade here. I'm going to put this literally just right on top of that first initial shade and blend in the same motions, the same areas. This is really just adding more depth and deepening that crease and adding more depth to the transition look. Usually when I use this palette, I like to mix these two colors together as my transition. So I guess we could have done that because we're basically just doing that now, but for the sake of the video. I'm picking up just the smallest amount of product and going in and building it up until I'm happy with it and blending it out until it's all diffused and blended. You don't want to go in with too much product because that's nearly impossible to fix. It's a lot easier to just build it up and work your way to what you want instead of going in with too much. Because 9 times out of 10, if you pick up a lot of product, it's always going to be way too much, and it's just, that's even more work blending for you compared to if you were to just, you know, be a little more patient and use less product and build your way up that way. I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush. This one is also by Morphe. I don't know what the number is because it's worn off, but it's from the Rose Gold collection. I'm going to take the next shade called Cherry Wood, and I'm going to focus this mainly on the outer corner here, and once product starts to leave my brush, I'll drag it inwards. But I don't want to put this all up in my crease. And I am kind of like pulling my brush out to make that V shape. These shadows are really, really pigmented, so it is really easy to pick up too much product. And then I'm going to go back in with that M518 brush and further blend that out. And I'm just using whatever product is left over on this brush. I'm not picking up any more. Oh, just a tip, if you think the shadow on the corner is getting a little messy like it kind of is here. I already have all my face makeup on, so I can't just like wipe this away. I'm going to take some loose setting powder and just kind of pack this on right here. This is I learned this from a Jaclyn Hill video, and then I'll wipe it away later and I'll just clean up everything. All that shadow that's kind of like being dragged down too far. So now I'm going to take a smaller kind of like a tapered brush. This is a Lexi 231, and I'm going to pick up the final shade in the palette called Rock Bottom, and I'm going to just pack this in the inner corner. And this really just adds a lot of depth and dimension to your look. I'm trying not to bring this into the crease because I don't love it when there's dark shades in the crease. So then I'll go back in with just one of the fluffy brushes that I've used so far and just help blend that out even more. So you can leave it at that. Like, this is a really good daytime smoky eye because it's not like black or anything, and it would be totally appropriate for going out at night as well. But just to show you, if you did want to add black to the smoky eye, this is the point where you would do that. And I'm just gonna grab a black from this Makeup Forever eyeshadow palette just because it's what's in front of me. So I'm gonna take this black on that same Lexi brush and just kind of place this right over that darkest shade from the Dose of Colors palette, and then blend it out. Whenever I'm working with black, I like to use one brush to just pack it on where I want it, or where I want the majority of the product to be, and then I'll blend it out. I don't really like packing and blending a black with the same brush. And all those darker colors I keep on the outer corner and blend out in this area, and then as product will leave my brush, that's when I'll start to drag it in kind of into the crease a little bit and towards the inner part of my eye, just so that everything just merges together really and blends together really well. If you wanted to leave this look all matte, I would say go in with the tea light shade and just pack this all on the inner corner here. Kind of dragging that like to the center of your lid so that merges with the black here. I don't love an all matte look, so I'm going to put a shimmer down because that's just what I like to do. So I'm going to take this ColourPop Golden State of Mind palette. I think I'm going to use this shade here. So I'm just going to pick this up on a Luxie 211 brush. I'm just going to pack this all in the inner corner onto the lid and dragging it to the center, kind of merging it with all the other shadows into the black. I'll take up that Morphe brush again and just kind of wiggle my brush like right in between the area where the shimmer and the mattes meet, just to really merge them together. I kind of like how this is now, but I'm going to spray my brush with some Fix Plus from MAC and just see if I can, ooh, I'm out of this, intensify this a little bit more. I'm gonna wipe that powder away. See how it just kind of cleans it up? Oh, moving on to the lower lash line, I'm gonna take this Morphe E18 pencil brush and take the Deserted shade and just kind of apply this all along the lower lash line. Going back into that black from the Makeup Forever palette and taking a Morphe M508, I'm going to pick up some of that black and pack it as close to my lower lash line as I possibly can. And I'm only going to bring this in about 3/4 of the way towards my inner corner. I'm not going to bring it in, all the way in, because that'll make your eyes appear a lot smaller. Then I'm just going to take that pencil brush again and go in with that middle shade and blend this all out. And I like to drag it up and kind of connect it to the black on the outer corner of the lid. I'm just going to add some eyeliner on my waterline and tightline and put some mascara on, and I'll be right back to talk to you guys about my favorite palettes for... So obviously my first favorite palette is the Dose of Colors Baked Browns palette. This is what I just used to do this look. What's really great about this is it's very minimal and it's super easy to use. You really just go down the line of colors, building your way up to smoky goodness. So this is a really good one. It is a little, my one gripe about this palette is it is pretty expensive for what it is. You only get 5 shades and they're, you know, they're basic. I think it's like over $30, but you can actually get this on Ulta now, and if you have points, then you can use your points to buy it. It's super small, slim, compact. It's really good for traveling. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I have these palettes by Dose of Color are so good. I have this one and the Marvelous Mauves palette, and they have 2 more. I think it's called the Blushing Berries and the Sassy Siennas, which I definitely want those 2, but I haven't gotten them yet. But yeah, these are just, this is like a really good everyday palette, a really good staple palette. Another really small palette that's good for everyday is this Smashbox Cover Shot palette. This is the matte one. So the packaging of this is really cool. And see, the inside is just super basic. It has your light neutral browns. It also has like this purple and pink shade, some creams, that are good for just using as a base all over the lid and also highlighting your brow bone. And it has a black here to intensify everything. Oh, one palette that is really inexpensive is this ColourPop palette. This is the Double Entendre. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I think this palette's only like $16, and it's, again, just your neutral palette. You can build it up. It has your neutral browns. This is good for creating everyday looks and also amping it up for a night out. It has some shimmer shades in it too as well. Like I mentioned in the tutorial, I always, every time I do a smoky eye, I love packing a shimmer on the inner part of my lid. Oh, one palette that's actually newer is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. This is kind of like your more expensive version to the ColourPop one. Again, this is just super neutral, good for every day, and can also intensify everything with the black shade. And I love this mulberry shade too, and it has shimmers in it as well. So really good basic palette every day. Anastasia Beverly Hills is probably one of, if not my favorite makeup brand. So her shadow quality is so good. The blendability, the pigment, like these are some of the best shadows that you can get. Another just really basic palette is this Pure palette. This is the something Diaries. I don't know how to say that, but basic. It's so, like, this is just a really good everyday palette. I reach for this quite often, and it's got like some 4 shimmers on the bottom, but just has like all your basic neutral browns, some darker browns, and then your base shades too. I think this is more of a pricey palette. I'm not sure how much this costs. I did get this in a BoxyCharm, but I use it all the time. I love it so much. I always gravitate towards this when I just need to do something quick and easy for an everyday look. One palette I think is a staple. Everyone needs this. Is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Contour palette. Ugh! Like everyone needs this in their makeup collection. Again, this is just all matte palette, all neutral browns, and then this black is the blackish, most creamiest shade I own. Her shadows are some of the most blendable, the creamiest, the butteriest. They're so good. The best quality shadows that I own. But this is another one that I reach to when I'm just doing a neutral look, or I just need some basic colors, some neutral colors to start a look off with. It's another one that's, you know, you can do an everyday look or you can do a nighttime look using just this one palette. I'm going to talk about some Morphe palettes. I'm not even sure if you can get. It's the 25A. It's in this packaging. I think this packaging was limited edition. I think this one's called the Copper Spice palette, which I think does still exist, but I'm not sure. But this is just probably one of the best neutral palettes for doing an everyday or an intense smoky eye, because it does have like the darker shades in the black, and then it has some really, really nice shimmers. As much as I love Morphe, I don't think their shadows are the best quality, but this palette specifically is such great quality. The blendability is there, the pigment is there. I find it to be better quality than the 35O palette, which is like a holy grail for some people. This one is really good for just like obviously the same look I've been talking about this whole video. Yeah, this is a really, really good palette to have. It's inexpensive, you know, the quality is there. And you can do a lot of different looks with this, not even just, you know, your basic smoky eye. You can do a lot more with this as well because you do get a lot of colors. My one issue with Morphe palettes is that there seems to be a lot of repetition in the colors. So you can see like this whole area here is very, very similar. And in this palette, this whole area here, again, is very similar. So, you know, that is a little annoying when, even though you're not paying a whole lot for these palettes, you know, you are, this one is like 20 something dollars. You know, I want different shades in my palette. You know, I don't want a bunch of dupes in one palette. So, you know, it kind of lacks the versatility. If you are going to get a Morphe palette, I would get the Jaclyn Hill palette. Her formula is different than what Morphe typically uses. She created her own formula with them when she created this palette. And I don't know why Morphe didn't switch to this for all their shadows, because this is one of the best eyeshadow formulas ever. And again, this is another palette where you can do a basic everyday look or a more dramatic going out look. You can do basic smoky eye, more dramatic smoky eye, neutral smoky eye, but then also it has like those pops of colors right here that if, you know, you're feeling a little feisty and want to add some color. So this is just a really, really good everyday palette for daytime, nighttime. Like, I could get rid of all my palettes and this would be the one that I would keep, because I always, always, always grab this palette for something. So that completes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something new. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And as always, leave me a comment down below what you thought, and if you have any recommendations of what you like to see, I'm always looking for those as well. And thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.